Hello, welcome. So today we're going to be taking a little dive into r/am I the boat hole. So if you want to judge some big old gaping boat holes with me today, then please do stick around and enjoy. And don't forget to like and subscribe, please. Thank you. And of course, quick disclaimer, any opinions I give on the posts we read are just opinions, not facts, do not need to be taken as such. If you have a differing opinion, that is perfectly okay. Feel free to leave it in the comments below, just make sure you're keeping it respectful, there is no need to be mean with each other just because you do not agree. With that being said, let's get into it then, shall we? So this first one was posted by Jolly Willingness 203. Am I the boat hole for lying to my parents to hurt them? Well, we're on to a strong start, aren't we? I, 32F, and my partner, 36M, are private people. We don't use social media much and keep our circles small. I'm going to condense 2 years of problems into a post, so bear with me. In 2024, we got pregnant with our first. Usually people announce at 12 weeks, but we decided to do it at 9 weeks. I asked my close family to keep it quiet until 12 weeks, but it leaked everywhere. I was mad, but let it go. Yeah, see, that was your first mistake. If you don't want anyone to know something, don't tell anyone, because there's always one loudmouth that just can't keep it to themselves. I told them that the day of the birth would be partner and I alone and they could come visit the day after. They weren't happy, but agreed. On the day of the birth, they showed up to the hospital and pushed the midwives and my doula to let them in. And I'll bloody well hope they didn't let them in, otherwise they should be fired. They waited 8 hours outside, so I felt bad and we let them see the baby and chat to us briefly when we were moved from the birth room to the room where we would stay the night. Visiting hours were over, so they were asked to leave. I wasn't happy, but I let it go. They spent the next week visiting every single day and posted breastfeeding photos of me and baby nude. Oh my goodness, I'd be fuming. Report the posts, like report them posts. I was horrified and asked them to take them down. They straight up said no. I was postpartum, hormonal, feeling humiliated and struggling with milk production. So this time I didn't let it go. Good. I asked them to stop visiting for a couple of weeks until I was feeling more capable of being in control. We resumed visits after 3 weeks. They never forgave me for it. Seriously though, those social media posts, I'd just be like, hey, everyone I know, can you go on to those posts and just report them? When we got pregnant with our second, we decided to wait till 12 weeks to announce it to prevent leaks, and again had the same conversation with my parents. No visits the first day. We argued a lot about it. They called me selfish and yelled at me a few times. Yelling at a pregnant woman is weird to me, but I ignored it. I think this is the point where you have to stop ignoring that behavior and just be like, look, carry on and you won't see us at all. So you've got 2 choices. Learn how to act right and behave right and treat me with the respect that I as an adult deserve, or you can piss right off. Okay, you'd put it better than that, but you know, basically that. The day of the birth, my doula couldn't make it, so I invited my sister. I asked her not to tell my parents I was in labour to prevent them from pushing in like last time. It was a great birth, and I had no problems with my milk this time. Yeah, probably because you weren't stressed to the nines. The next day I texted them the news. They were in the hospital within an hour. A week postpartum, they came to my home to visit, and they both were very distant and cold. I knew exactly what was happening, so I tried to ignore it, but they still brought it up. They called me selfish for denying them the chance to see the baby's birth. They said I'm a liar because I should have told them I was pregnant the moment I found out, and withdrew information from them and keep them from the joy of knowing I was pregnant those 12 weeks. Oh my god. What? Like, as soon as you've pissed on the stick, you want me to give you a call? Would you like me to give you a call as well after we're done clapping cheeks, just in case? You know, never know. That could be a moment of conception. Do you need to know from then or what? Like, what the hell? They said that I have no family or cultural values and principles, and they are so hurt they need some space away from me to figure things out. I said I understand and I respect their decision. A few days after, I got a call from my sister. They told her that she is also a liar for not telling them that I was in labour and that we pushed them away, that we're breaking the family apart. They even somehow thought I said they never loved me. What? I'm so confused. This is typical of my mum, but very unusual for my dad. Clearly not, because dad's been at this twice now too. Like, mum's not the only one at fault here. I was hurt. Within a day, my milk production dropped from the stress and my baby got jaundice. We ended up having to go to the hospital and draw blood multiple times. I'm power pumping between tears and my poor partner is caught in the middle, trying his best to support me. Baby is recovering well, but I'm wondering what the hell? Am I really a liar and selfish? No. Are people required to disclose these things to parents? No. Or is this deranged behaviour? Yes. I can't tell what's what, and I'm too hormonal to think. This all seems so blown out of goddamn proportions. Am I the butthole? No, your parents are nuts. Like, to put it quite plainly, they are nuts, they are overbearing, they need to pack it in. Parents need to understand that when their children are adults and having their own families, they don't get to tell their adult children how to parent their own kid, like whether or not they can be there at the birth. It's their adult children's decision ultimately. You can provide suggestions of guidance of how to do things if you're asked. You can, provide opinions in a gentle way that's not like a pushy way. Of course you can. But don't be surprised if they don't listen to it, because they don't have to, because they're adults and they need to do things their own way that works for them and their family setting. The only time you really need to be pushing in and taking over is if your adult children are neglecting their own children, okay? Then you get to push in. Then you get to pull the I'm your parent, do as I say act, okay? But until then, if nothing untoward is going on, you've just got to keep your nose out and let them get on with it and allow them to let you know what's the best time for you to be a part of what, Anyway, down in the comments, Cherry Gripe 75 says, your family is selfish and toxic. You need to lower contact, not the butthole. And then Every Expression 680 says, totally agree. We waited 12 weeks to announce is not lying. It's a completely normal boundary. Same with wanting the actual birth to be just you and your partner. Posting your breastfeeding pics without consent is wildly violating. Yeah, and don't forget posting photos of the little one in the buff. Like, that's not just violating, that's disgusting behaviour. Like, what the hell? Why would you even want to post that for a load of Facebook strangers or slight acquaintances to see? Do you know what I mean? Like, what the hell? Low contact or even a full pause while you heal sounds really reasonable here. Yeah, exactly. I think the same. And then R4Cats2Mant says, not providing information does not translate to lying. Actions have consequences. Exactly. It's very normal for people not to want to tell people that they're pregnant until 12 weeks. And I think usually because 12 weeks tends to be a safer mark to do it at. Before 12 weeks, unfortunately, quite a lot of pregnancies can end. Like 1 in 4 is the number. That's quite high. That's a high amount. So it's understandable that people would naturally like to keep it to themselves till then. So yeah, not telling someone something until you're ready is not lying. It's just you're not ready. Are your parents involved in their grandkids' lives? Please tell me you're low contact. And then we do have a reply from the OP. We're very close. We visited them once a week for the entirety of the second pregnancy. They love spending time with our eldest, and it helped me rest. Last year, my partner and I decided to move about 2 hours away where most of his family lives. It's nothing to do with my parents, it's just a better place to raise kids, and all the cousins are there. I told my parents well in advance. I thought they would be happy because it's a much better area, but they were very angry. What on earth ever gave you the impression that they would be happy, OP? Let's be real now. I think the OP is kind of like just, we moved 2 months ago, and I think it's going to be very good to create a bit of distance. I would agree. So then, next post, posted by SmoothSpell7918. Am I the butthole for cutting off my childhood friend because she thought I wanted her boyfriend? Oh dear. I, 20F, cut off my best friend of 8 years, 21F, let's call her Lucy. We grew up together, lived close by, went to the same school, and eventually ended up at nearby universities. In high school, we both became friends with David, 22M. I started dating him when I was 16, and he was almost 18. We were together for about a year and a half, and pretty much everyone at school knew we were dating. Honestly, he was a great boyfriend. We eventually broke up because long distance wasn't working after he left for college. I was the one who ended things. There was no cheating, no huge fight, no messy breakup. We stayed on good terms afterwards. Every month or two we'd check in, chat for 10 or 15 minutes, and move on with our lives. I even attended his 20th birthday party. A few months later, Lucy admitted that she'd always had a crush on David and asked if I'd be okay with her pursuing him. I was dating my then boyfriend Mark, was completely in love, and genuinely didn't care, so I told her to go for it. The only boundary I had was when she suggested a double date. Mark wasn't exactly thrilled about having dinner with my ex, which I think is pretty reasonable, so I politely declined. Lucy got weirdly upset over it. I think Lucy probably got weirdly upset over it because Lucy wanted to be like, look, David, she's got this new man now, stay away, which was mad because if you're with someone, like, surely you should probably be trusting that they're gonna stay away anyway, I don't know. Fast forward about a year and a half into their relationship. Lucy throws a party, David is there too. I didn't really know a lot of people there. She had invited mostly her uni friends, so he was one of the familiar faces. Every single time I'd start talking to him, she'd magically appear like she had a sixth sense and pull either him or me away with some random excuse. After the third time, I got the message and just kept my distance. Later that night, it got pretty late, and David offered to drop me back to my PG? PG? No idea. My brain's gone blank. It's probably something so obvious as well. What is wrong with me? Place? No, that wouldn't be a thingy for place, would it? I have no idea. Lucy got into the car too. Girl sat in the passenger seat like her boyfriend was about to dry hump me from the driver's seat at a red light. After that, I intentionally distanced myself from both of them. I only replied when she texted first, and I stopped talking to David altogether. Then, a few weeks ago, Mark and I broke up after 2 years. I was already having a rough time between work, being away from my family, and the breakup. Lucy invited me over to cheer me up. Instead, she tells me David has been distant lately, spends more time gaming with his friends, has been cancelling dates, and then asks me if it has something to do with me. Maybe it's something to do with your blatant paranoia, maybe, Lucy? I don't know. Mind you, I hadn't spoken to David since the party. Then she clarified she wasn't accusing me of doing anything yet. She was just worried that now I was single, I might make a move on her boyfriend. That was my breaking point. I told her if she was this insecure about me and David, she should have never dated him in the first place. Exactly. And let's not forget, right? This girl has basically gone to her best friend and been like, hey, can I shack up with your ex-boyfriend? Now, normally, girl code, bro code, whatever, either of the codes, there is always, you don't date your best mate's ex. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, I suppose there's slight nuances to that. Say if it was someone they dated when they were like 12 and you're all in your 30s, it might be a bit different. But yeah, because of these situations, partially really, because it can get so messy. I also told her I'd never go after a man in a relationship, let alone my friend's boyfriend. I even showed her my chats with David, which I absolutely did not owe her, just to prove we'd barely spoken. I then called her insecure, left, blocked her everywhere, and haven't spoken to her since. Some mutual friends think I overreacted because she was just asking. But after a month of being treated like I was lurking in the shadows, waiting for the chance to steal her boyfriend, I was done. Am I the butthole? No, and honestly, I don't know if it's me reading too much into this, but I feel that Lucy, asking to meet up with the OP, saying, oh, it's to cheer you up, knowing that OP had gone through a rough breakup, and then pulling that move was calculated. Like, kick them when they're down kind of calculated. Do you know what I mean? I kind of get that feeling. I think it was partially from clearly insecurities, but I do also think that there was a good amount of calculatedness in that of trying to make the OP feel worse, because what the hell? Either that or she has zero social awareness skills. So, down in the comments, why am I writing this? 7 says, not the butthole. She is projecting her insecurity. She clarified she wasn't accusing me of doing anything, yet she doesn't trust you or her boyfriend at all. Good riddance. Yeah, I really do think David was keeping his distance from Lucy because he's probably so sick of her. Because if this is the way she's being about him being friends with the OP, who she knew he dated before even getting into the relationship with him, imagine what she's like about other friends, other acquaintances, other work colleagues that are female. Like, I imagine she's a nightmare to be with. So the OP then says, that's what's always confused me. I've always maintained boundaries with David because I knew they were dating. At first, I completely understood why she might feel a little weird about us being exes. Hell, I even offered to stop talking to him altogether if it'd make her more comfortable. She told me she didn't care and that she trusted both of us. The thing is, if you choose to date your friend's ex, you have to accept that both of them are probably going to remain in your life in some capacity. If you're never going to be comfortable with that, then either don't date the guy or distance yourself from the friend. Precisely. So, next post posted by Dank Nado Flex. Am I the butthole for wanting to attend a child-free wedding without my wife? My cousin is getting married and the wedding is a 4-hour flight from where we live. We aren't particularly close, but I would really like to be there for my family member on the day of their wedding. It's a child-free wedding and we have 2 children. One is under 1 year old and the other almost 5. My wife refuses to travel and get a babysitter. She is even refusing to let me hire a babysitter to help her at our home for the 2 days that I'm gone. She says she cannot take care of the kids by herself and everything will fall apart and she'll be underwater. She was invited to a wedding earlier this year, also child-free, and not only did I encourage her to go, I reassured her I can watch both the kids for as long as she needs to travel and come back. She declined to go to any of those weddings and was offended they were child-free. I told her it's important for me to go, and I feel heartbroken that I have a partner who won't do for me what I would do for them. I'm considering buying the plane ticket and RSVPing yes and going anyway. The clock is ticking to RSVP, and I want to be there. I feel resentful that my wife can't, well, be a parent to our kids for 2 days by herself and refuses to entertain me hiring a babysitter for as much as possible time to shadow and help with the kids. Do you know what? Normally, if it was like the wife had gone to those weddings and then was telling the OP, no, you can't go, I would be on the OP's side. And I mean, I'm still on the OP's side. I do feel like they should be able to go, but I'm wondering if there's a little more going on here with the rhetoric of refusing to, have a babysitter to help out, saying that they'll fall apart, it'll go underwater, refusing to travel on her own away from the kids as well. Could be a little bit of like something postpartum anxiety, postpartum depression-y going on, which means that she doesn't want to be away from the kids, but she also doesn't want to be with them alone. Because, yeah, the refusing the childcare, I could see that being a thing if she is having a bit of a mental struggle right now, because she's probably worried about someone from outside seeing what's going on inside and seeing her as inadequate. Because obviously people, when they're going through that sort of thing, that's the way they see themselves quite often, unfortunately. I would maybe try and get to the bottom of what the problem is first before booking a ticket. Have a very frank discussion, maybe. I don't know. I wouldn't just go book the ticket outright just yet, though. When I told her how I felt about this, she said, "Do you think this is going to make me change my mind? I don't want you to go." She has ADHD and executive function issues, and even making breakfast can feel overwhelming for her. Am I the butthole for intending to go to this wedding? Edit, wife is still pumping for the baby. Our only reliable babysitters, her parents, have already booked a trip out of town that weekend. Edit, for those saying she should see a therapist, probably yes. She was before the second baby was born. It did not seem like her condition was improving. She refuses to consider medication either. Since the baby was born, she says she cannot see a therapist because she doesn't have time. I mean, she does if you support her and give her the time, which it does sound like the OP is prepared to do because they've already done it before. Sounds like she is reluctant to get the help that she probably does need. If she's getting overwhelmed just making breakfast, no wonder she's getting overwhelmed with 2 flipping kids. Because let me tell you now, 2 kids is a lot. Like, I don't know how people have more. I genuinely don't. It's crazy to me. Mental. Like, there's nothing wrong with being a mom or a dad, but majority of the time it's a mum that gets a lot of flack if they need help when it comes to childcare. I literally, in fact, I was just scrolling through shorts the other day on YouTube, and there was a woman and she posted and she's like, "Oh, I'm a nighttime nanny," and it was like this 4 or something week old baby. I don't know, maybe even a little, no, it wasn't, it was 7 weeks old. So she's doing like 10 p.m. till 10 a.m. or something like that, and everyone in the comments was like, "Where's mum? What the hell is mum doing then?" And it was like, for one, mum's asleep. She's getting some sleep. And for 2, like a lot of people were pointing out to these commenters, why is no one saying, "Where's dad? Why is dad not doing the night time?" It's like, yeah. And somebody posted a very, very good point. It was like, we're not actually, as women, built to look after babies 24 hours on our own. Like, it used to be that it would be generations living in the same house or all in the same little cul-de-sac. So, you'd have people to take over for you so you could sleep at night, or so you could sleep a bit in the day, or so you could do this, do that. Basically you juggle the children around the family to make it work so everyone is able to get some peace, some quiet, some rest, whatever they need, or go and just wash themselves. Do you know what I mean? Like, we're not built to be like that. So yeah, there's no shame in asking for help or receiving help or letting someone give you help, like with the babysitter or something, if you need it, because we're not actually built to do this alone. Unfortunately, it's just this day and age that expects us to have to do it alone. Edit, I keep seeing this come up. I'm not going to get drunk. It's not about that for me. My family is very apart, and it's a one in a decade or more opportunity to have everyone in one place together. I'm not sure how I'm abandoning, as my wife is invited too. She says she doesn't want to go, and I've also offered to do everything possible to get hired help. We have babysitters we've used in the past that are trusted and might be available. She assumes they are not or won't be available at the hours when the help is most needed. Latest update since I posted this in Am I the Hole? She spoke to her sister and is going to reach out to a trusted babysitter today, and she said she would feel comfortable if she has a combination of help from both of them. She said she'd let me know today if she can secure coverage. I told her I won't go unless she feels supported in my absence. I also spoke to her about how she was feeling postpartum. She told me she's not depressed, but she feels postpartum anxiety. I told her I would do whatever it takes to facilitate her being able to speak to someone to work through her struggles. She said she's unwilling to take medication and there is no time for her to have an appointment. I told her I would take time off work if necessary so she could speak with a professional. Yeah, I don't think that the OP is the butthole here. I think there is just a lot of trickiness going on here. Obviously, the cousin having a child-free wedding, it just isn't ideal for them. The OP and their wife, I mean, but that's their right to have a child-free wedding. If I ever got married, I'd have a child-free wedding. Like, obviously, I'd have my own kids there, but no one else's, thank you. Like, I wouldn't want the friggin' anxiety of having to think, I hope no one treads on someone's kid, or, like, someone's kid goes missing somewhere, running off in the venue, or, like, trips up the staff or something, do you know what I mean? And a lot of the weddings that I have ever been to, not that I've been to many, have been child-free. So I'm all for child-free weddings if that's what you want. But yeah, obviously that doesn't work out for the OP, which is tricky, because of the way that their wife is feeling, the wife being very reluctant to get any help for the way they're feeling or, you know, accept help from anyone. It's a bit of a tricky situation, I think, and I don't think the OP's the butthole because they're clearly prepared to help get her the help that she obviously needs because she even admitted herself she's having postpartum anxiety. So, down in the comments, one cat says she was overwhelmed by making breakfast but has 2 young kids. She needs help from a childcare provider and a therapist. And then OP says one kid usually needs help with the bathroom while the baby is cruising around and she's trying to pump at the same time. And I'm on a meeting for my job. It does get overwhelming for both of us at times. I mean, yes, it is overwhelming, but that is also just very normal if you've got 2 kids. You know, I remember many a time where it's like juggling one and the other, and it's just something that you have to unfortunately get used to again, because it's not like we live in the old times where you've got all your different family members in one house, is it? So yeah. Lord Trickster says, this is a completely normal part of having 2 kids. If one person is overwhelmed managing normal situations, then the problem is with that person, whether they need therapy or training or both, especially if medication is off the table. The key here is that she doesn't just get to offload her difficulties on other people if she's unwilling to work on herself. Everyone can support her while she works on herself, but that needs to be done. Yeah, and not just for the kids either, for her own well-being. Like, I'm not saying she should take medication, by the way. I think medication is very personal. Some people get on with it, some people do not get on with it at all. And I understand that, and I'm all for the choice when it comes to medication. I think, though, if you have got people saying, I will facilitate whatever it takes for you to be able to go and have a talk with a therapist, jump on that chance, because yeah, the last thing that these parents should want to happen is her anxiety ends up affecting the kids, you know, negatively. So it's always worth looking into. If you've got kids anyway, it's always worth thinking about how can I improve myself to be a better person for them. None of us are doing a perfect job. Let me tell you that for free. I know I am not a perfect parent. I know everyone I know is not a perfect parent. Nobody is. Half the time, we're all kind of just taking a wild guess at it. Let's be real. Because no one really teaches you a lot of the ins and outs of parenting. They tell you the stuff, the very surface level stuff. And then after that, it's like you get thrown at the deep end. It's like, take a guess. So, it's just everyone's doing their best. So there's nothing wrong with being like, maybe I'll get a bit of therapy to make sure I'm in the best mental place to do the best for them. Maybe I'll speak to other parents and see what they're doing. And you know what I mean? Like, there's nothing wrong with it at all. Okay then, so I think that's all we've got time for today. If you made it all the way to the end with me, then I appreciate you very, very much. If you give a little like, subscribe, notifications on, that is your initiation into the Come and Avoid. Welcome. Slap Big L, slap the hype button, do all those things, of course. I tell you what, yesterday I got scared shiteless. I was sat here and I was watching like an alien apocalypse kind of themed film. It wasn't like themed like super scary, but I think it was just supposed to be suspenseful and whatever. I don't remember what it was. So I'm sat here watching that when an alarm starts blaring out of my phone. Fucking government, severe government alert or something like that. One of those friggin' alerts that you'd expect, I don't know, in an air raid or something. It made that kind of noise as well. And do you want to know what it was for? It was saying, the grass is very dry and, everything's very dry and be careful, don't light fires, whatever, because it could start wildfires. Okay, fair enough. Cool. Important. One, do we have to put that out as a severe alert with blaring alarms? Could it not have been a text message? Because they can do that, because they did that in COVID times. They sent everyone texts to their phone saying, just a reminder, don't fucking go outside, basically. So could it not have been a text? You have all our numbers. Two, as my dad very rightly pointed out, what on earth was the point? Because it's been dry as a bone outside now for the last month and a half, maybe even 2 months. And they've waited until now. Right, this is the funniest part. They've waited until now to give us the warnings about wildfires. When, by the way, when I went to a family member's in the middle of July. No, it wasn't the middle of July. It was the end of July, sorry. When I went to a family member's towards the end of July, there was literally one of the roads off of the motorway was closed because a fire had broken out near the road because of the dry grass. So anyway, they've sent this alert out about this dry grass and not lighting fires because it can start wildfires. Fair enough. However, considering it was 38 degrees or whatever it was the other day on Wednesday, it has now dropped all the way down to 23 today. And then next week, it's going to drop even further to, I'm just looking at my weather app, to 22, 22, 20, 20, 18, 19, and it's basically gonna rain all of next week. So as my dad very rightly pointed out, because I messaged him and I was like, have you just had that bloody alert? And he was like, yeah, we've just had it. He says, but I've turned the alerts off on my phone now because, he says, what's the friggin' point? It's like, if that was a nuclear bomb, it would have blasted and killed us all already before we even got the alert. Like, it's so true. But no, I've turned them off as well because I couldn't stop shaking for like 2 hours after that. Part of my anxiety disorder problems is I am super jumpy with loud sounds. So a loud sound like that going off, it will send me into like my body into like a state of adrenaline for ages, and it takes me so long to come back down from it. It was literally like 2 hours. I was still like quite shaky and jittery. I was fuming. Like, mate, that could have been a text. It could have been a text. Oh my goodness. Anyway, whatever it is you're doing for the day, I hope you have a really good rest of the day. Goodbye.